What's up, everybody? Whiskey friends. How is it going? It is a what are we going to call this? Wet Wednesday, wine finish Wednesday, something like that. I'm Erik, your humble Malt Muser, and we're live on a Wednesday, and I'm joined by a good friend of the show, all around great dude, Cody, the Dram Dude. And as you probably have seen, if you're on Instagram or otherwise, we're going to be cracking open a bottle that both of us got our hands on tonight. It is the Deanston 1991 vintage. It's a 28-year-old with a muscat wine finish. So we're looking forward to diving into this. And for the moment, I think Cody and I are just warming up. And I was mentioning to him just before we got on, I got a Knock 24. This was my whiskey of the year last year, kind of finishing this up. Did you find yourself something, Cody?
How about you help me pick?
Well, with the brand, well, he was showing me his Deanston collection before this. So, do you have like a good kind of like base Glenmorangie, something like a bourbon cask, something that's not going to taint your palate too much on this muscat?
It's a good call. Still trying to get my windows and everything.
Yeah, do your thing, man. No rush. We already got 6 folks in, which is cool. Feel free to hop in the chat, say hi. I see Mr. French, Duluth, Minnesota, saying hey to everybody. What's up, man? How are you? Good to have you in. And I'm looking forward to this. I mean, we'll get into the kind of the background and how we both arrived with this bottle. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping. A little bit. He's got a pick. Is it a ball blair?
This is a bell blair.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. Excellent.
It's nice and light, so should be good.
Get the palate in place, ready for this. So we got a couple other folks joining already. Ontario, Canada, Peter White. Sounds great. I have a Deanston 1997 Palo Cortado. That is excellent. That sounds excellent.
I've heard that one's really good, but I have not tried it.
Nor have I. And Mahir beaming the signal all the way from Delhi, India. What's up, Mahir? Great to have you in the house as well. This is going to be a fun little stream we're going to get into. I'm going to let Cody get his dram in the glass. James Morgan's in the house from London. What's up, man? Awesome to have you on the late night. I can imagine what is it? 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning out by you? Good to have you in the house. So what I'll do before we get started on this, I'm going to, hand it over to Dram Dude himself to, if you want to do a little intro. He's been in and out of the chats for quite some time on this channel and on plenty of other channels. So I'm sure you all might be familiar with him. But Dram, take it away, man. What's up?
Hey. Yeah, my name's Cody. Most people know me as Dram Dude. I'm mostly on Instagram. I don't do the YouTubes, but I like to watch a lot of guys like Erik here, and I'll pop in every once in a while on Tuesdays and watch him and Telex as well. I've been on Telex's show before, once or twice maybe, so you might have seen me there. But yeah, mostly on Instagram at Dram Dude. Shameless plug.
Yeah, and y'all should check that out if you're on Instagram because I gotta say, man, I'm not trying to embarrass you or nothing, but dude, your pictures are killer. Like, you want to see some stellar whiskey bottle pictures? Follow @Dram Dude on Insta, my man. Like, I was trying to set up for this show today, and I was like taking some pictures around, and I'm like, I know this guy's gonna come with something serious. He's gonna have some great picture. And sure as hell you did. Like 2 hours ago, he posted a great picture. You guys go follow him on Instagram if you're on there @Dram Dude. He's got some great pictures of this bottle we're going to get into tonight, and I'm happy to have you here on the Malt Muser Whiskey Review stream, buddy. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
So we got a couple other folks hopping in already. Draminator, what's up, buddy? How are you? Mr. French, are you an Ardbeg man? Andrew Page. It is a dual uncorking. Andrew Page joining us from New Jersey. Yes, that is correct. We are getting into the same bottle tonight. We'll talk a little bit about why we have the same bottle and why we haven't opened it in just a couple minutes. Kapil, also coming in from India. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Happy to have you here. James Morgan over in London. We got 9-10 folks in already. Great. I'm glad y'all can join us. And Mahir's already throwing some love to Dram Dude's whiskey collection. Yeah, man. That whole setup behind you, bro. I got to say. Yeah. Give us the panorama, man. Give us the panorama. Dude's got a nice setup, for real. How many bottles do you think you got, Dram?
I think there's close to 300 now.
Damn. I am jealous. I think I might be close to 200. But maybe a little bit less.
It's not there though.
Not behind me. No, I have like a bunch of it sitting in the storage unit as well because I don't have the room. Although I'm going to have more of it up relatively soon. I'm moving across country to Chicago, and I'll have the opportunity to put a bit more of it up on display, as it were. So that'll be fun.
Is where you're in right now? Is that a room?
It is a room. Yeah, I'm in. This is a room. I'm in Philadelphia.
It's so small.
Yeah, no, this is like it's a really weird setup. This is like this little like hutch thing that they built in here. So they like the wall is actually right here, but then it goes backwards into this little like extra space, and that's why I decided to kind of use this as a backdrop for the new shows. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just that big because
no. Yeah, I'm not in like a hall or anything like that. I'm sitting in a closet, man. This is my beaming the signal from the malt closet. Yeah, no, not quite that. Morgan's got some love for the collection as well. That's rad, man. Cheers, James. All right. This is an old whiskey, and Dram and I were just chatting a little bit and before the show. And I don't know. Are you feeling like maybe we put this in the glass for a little bit? We can sip on something, chat about whiskey for a while, and then maybe get into this at the bottom of the hour or something like that?
Yeah, we should definitely pour now.
Yeah, let's do it. If you feel like giving folks the rundown on this bottle and what we're actually going to be drinking tonight, you are more than welcome to, my friend.
Sure, I'll share what I know. I wish I knew more. So this is the Deanston 1991, 28 years old, Muscat cask finish. Did it say how long it was finished? I don't think it did.
Yeah, I looked a little bit online, and it sounded like it's a 3-year finish in Muscat, which is like a nice kind of on the lighter side sherry from what my experience has been.
Yeah. I can't say I've had Muscat wine before.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Which is too bad. That's something I'm pretty bad at. I like whiskey so much, I don't buy anything else. So it's like, I've had sherry, obviously, in a few different types, but once or twice, not as often as I should. And lots of other things that are often used in whiskey that, I should really try by itself that I haven't. So
I hear you on that, man. And I think a great, if you find a good wine bar in your city, in your town, wherever you live, a really great way to kind of learn a bit about the palate, because of Scotch whiskey is just so many good Scotches have finishes and maturations and fortified wines, aka sherries. You can really get a nice kind of feel for what you should expect in it, and then you can get a better range on it. I mean, I've admittedly, I've had Oloroso sherry, I've had Finos, I've had an Amontillado. Muscat, I can't say I've had. I've had Marsala, not Muscat, so I'm not exactly even sure what to expect out of this. But yeah, I do appreciate the age and the fact that it's non-chill filtered, it's natural color, all good things. They say it prominently here on the bottle. It is also, 45% ABV, so 45. It's above 40. Yeah, that seems
that's pretty interesting.
That seems reasonable for a for a 28-year-old, I don't know. Would you expect a higher ABV than that? I mean, maybe it would 48.3 or something, or 45.3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It makes me wonder, did they put it down to 45?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it's totally possible after 28 years it was close to 45 anyway. And then maybe they just thought, maybe it was 47 or whatever. Maybe they just thought 45 was the sweet spot. 45 is kind of an odd number. So that kind of tells you maybe they played around with it and thought, 45 is the spot where we should bottle it at, because that's where we think it's the best. So that, it could mean that. So I'm not sad it's 45.
Definitely not.
I mean, this is 91. I've had some, older things or things around, 28 to 30 years that are cask strength, 43%. I have a number of old Bunnahavens. That's also Distell, owned by the same company. And I have a lot of ones distilled around 89 or 90 that are bottled at cask strength that are, under 45% ABV at cask strength. So I don't know what happened around 89, 90. I don't know if they were filling at a lower proof or what happened, but there are a lot of independent bottlings in particular that are cask strength, low proof, distilled in 89 and 90.
That's really interesting, and I'm glad you actually bring that up. So, like, I have a Lefroy 25. I think it's from 2016. It's a cask strength, and it's 44.4%, which is like, to me, was, again, I was thinking about that bottle today when I was planning for the show tonight, and I'm like, it's kind of an interesting ABV, right? Like, you don't see. I mean, it makes sense in a way, right? You got a spirit sitting in a bottle or in a barrel for, 25, 28 years. You're gonna have a lot of that alcohol kind of evaporate, and you would expect the ABV to come down. However, the 45, like exact 45 on this, like, strikes me as potentially, like you were saying, they kind of worked towards it, like they did what they could to kind of make this a 45%. But kudos to them for doing it, because I think too often we see whiskeys in that over 20-year-old range, which end up being, 43%. I'm thinking about, the Ben Romick I had last night, the, Glengoyne 21, things like that, where it's just like, you'd hope that they would find a little more equilibrium with a little more ABV on those. But yeah, this is going to be interesting in that sense. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, they probably have tweaked around this a bit. And, the other thing I was going to mention quick is, Deanston is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's exactly like a top tier sought after in that sense single malt distillery. I mean, Deanston kind of flies a little under the radar, maybe. I mean, maybe not as much among Scotch heads these days, but like definitely among the public. But I will say, much like distilleries like Tomatin and Glenmorangie, like, Deanston puts out a plethora of whiskeys, especially overseas, with every finish you can imagine. And I think when you combine that with their like non-chill filtered natural approach, like I'm quickly becoming a big fan of theirs. So I'd be curious, like, how much, how long have you been trying different Deanstons, and is it, where does it kind of fall on your distillery list of stuff that you're seeking?
Yeah. I've been buying Deanston for a while. Unfortunately, I don't find, I mean, as many things as they release, you certainly don't find them here very often. Or if you do, it's, they'll release 4 whiskeys at a time, right? And then one of them will make it here or something like that.
Right.
So, I was showing you earlier, I've got, 5 or 6 different ones, but, they release that many in a year. So,
yeah.
And, since with COVID and all, they Distell as a company in general, so Bunnahabhain, Deanston, Tobermory, Lecheg, they stopped a lot of shipping to the U.S. directly from the distillery, and just a lot of their releases in general just didn't make it to the US. So that sucks. It wasn't until recently, and because of you from buying this, that I may now do more overseas purchasing. That was something I kind of stayed away from for pretty much the entire time I've been into whiskey. I kind of just buy things that are around here and whatever makes it here. I'm in California, so I'm a bit spoiled for choice. You know, we have a lot of good places here that give you a lot of really good stuff. So that's never been a problem. But
I mean, you bring up a really good, I mean, that's a really good point, and it's the international aspect. The fact that I know about all the different finished whiskeys that Deanston makes is mostly because of ordering things internationally. And the thing about international is this. It's like this bottle that we're drinking tonight, for example. I mean, you've seen this in California shops. I'm thinking of Blackwell's, for example. They have it. I mean, this is a $500 bottle in the United States. I think you and I both got it on the same website, Whiskey World, was about $320.
Don't tell everybody.
No, we should, because unless it's good, maybe I should have waited until the end. But the point is that, like, you know, if you go to these international websites, there are a lot that will ship to the U.S., but where they kill you is on shipping. And so really what you got to look for is the sites that offer modest shipping, or what you need to do is literally put aside, like, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but put aside like $700 and be like, I'm going to order a bunch of whiskeys now that I really, really want, because the more you order, the economies of scale kick in and the less the shipping is per bottle. And so something like this, which is, you know, I think this was a limited release. There's only like over less than 2,000 bottles, I think. I have to double check this. I don't quite see it on here. But I saw a post about it. Like, you know, you can get a bottle of this, but of course, the question is like, if you really want to take advantage of the, you know, getting things shipped from places like the UK, things on like Whiskey World, you know, you definitely want to grab a couple if you can, because you're going to reduce that shipping cost. You don't got to pay that, which is nice. And, you know, you can find yourself some really good ones. And to your point about Deanston, like, you know, I saw a lot and realized how many different Deanstons there were and how many finishes that they put on stuff, because I was able to find it on the international sites. Because, man, I mean, they're hard to find in the United States. I mean, you don't see, unless you go into a real, like, quality whiskey shop, you're not going to find, you maybe find a Deanston Virgin Oak, you maybe find a Deanston 12, but you're not going to find, you know, Calvados finish. You're not going to find a brandy finish. You're not going to find the Pinot Noir, the Dragon Milk, any of that. And that really sucks, because they're doing such exciting stuff with a lot of their whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, part of that's, you know, just by the design of what they're doing. You know, a lot of releases, but low quantities, and so they just don't have enough to make it available everywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's always hard, because I see them and then it's like, well, I want it. But there's also, you know, they released 5 and I can't really afford to buy all 5.
Right.
That's kind of the problem with whenever Springbank comes out with stuff. It seems like they come out like, you know, 3 or 4 bottles at a time, and then, you know, they'll make it to the US, but, you know, with Springbank now and the prices, it's like you kind of have to choose one, and that's the one you get, because they're just so pricey now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to hop in the chat quick. We got 13, which is rad. Peter White said, yeah, a little bit lower on the ABV. Draminator is trying to sell a bottle of Ardbeg 10 to French. Annoc, yeah, Peter White's got an Annoc 1975. It's cast strength 44.2. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Deanston's like the 10-year-old PX cast strength, and the 2009 Bordeaux are the 2009 Bordeaux. The cast strength version was made my top 5 whiskeys of the year last year. That whiskey, and I found that locally, surprisingly. I'm not sure if you've had that one, Dram, but like, my God, what a killer pour that was. They also have a 46.3%. I'm not keen on buying. Oh, he's got it. Yeah, that was awesome, man. What an awesome whiskey. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, there's only 1,402 of this one. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, Draminator's okay. Talking about that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So like, I was thinking about, I've been following you on Instagram for quite a bit of time. What got you into Scotch whiskey in particular, and like specifically doing all the great photography you've been up to? You do that by trade or?
No, it's just a hobby. My job has nothing to do with whiskey.
Bummer. That's a sentence I also say, which is a real bummer.
Yeah.
I wish I could say it wasn't that.
I mean, yeah, I have to. There's different ways I'll say it because I'll attend a lot of events and stuff like that, and a lot of the people that attend these events for whiskey launches, all that stuff, usually they're people that work in the industry in some fashion, whether it's a restaurant or a bar or the importer or whatever it is. And I always get asked, "Oh, what do you do?" And it's like, "Oh, nothing whiskey related." But I just say, I earned to buy whiskey. So,
how long have you been? How long have you been in the single malt journey?
Yeah, so probably 6 years, I want to say. So I guess relatively not that long. But I'm actually next week I turned 31. So.
Damn.
Not really that old, I guess.
Welcome to the most. Yeah. It's the best decade of your life, from what I remember.
So, but how I got into whiskey, I also hate that question. It's not very interesting. Graduated college, got a job, started making money. Decided I wanted to, now that I had my own money and all this, I was like, I'm going to buy some whiskeys and see what I like. So I bought like some bourbon, scotch, and all that fun stuff. And then I ended up just really gravitating towards scotch, started reading, and I've kind of got a collector mentality. And so there's always been something in my life where I've collected things.
Sure.
And so I got into scotch. And that's probably the most expensive thing I've collected.
Yeah, man. I know what you mean.
But it's also lasted the longest, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So that's kind of
yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I also kind of was. I mean, I was more of a particular drinker. I got into bourbon. I mean, it's hard not to get into bourbon in the United States. I mean, sooner or later, you're drinking bourbon in your life. The scotch, this is another one I would ask you. What is the first single malt bottle you bought? The first one I bought was an Oban 14, and that was strictly because I had tasted it at a party and was like, it just clicked. I was like, holy cow, this is fantastic. And picked up a bottle of Oban 14. This was years ago. So, I mean, this is when it was like a $50 bottle. I mean, now, God, I mean, you see this being sold for $80. It's like terrifying. That was really the gateway for me. And then, I finally got it, I got into the peated stuff and all that. And, you're off to the races and you end up with shelves like you have and behind us. It's like, there's always something else to chase.
Yeah, for sure. The first bottle of scotch I bought was actually a blend. So it was actually the Chivas Regal 18-year-old, which seems like a weird thing to buy as your first bottle, but I was looking to just kind of splurge a bit and explore and try to find something that was a little nicer. So, of course, not knowing anything, you base that off price, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And but then I found out, this is a single malt and this is a blend and what the differences are. And so probably my first single malt was, Glenlivet or Glenfiddich. I'm sure I don't remember, but something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you still drink bourbon, or are you more just strictly scotch?
No, I have a handful of bourbons. So I've got an Elijah Craig barrel proof sitting over here.
Nice.
I've got Henry McKenna, Blanton's. I think I have a bottle of Bullet sitting there. I have a couple things that were sent to me that are fine. I guess that's kind of it. Yeah, just a few.
Yeah, I have a handful too, and I do like bourbon as a change of pace. I've been really getting into the barrel stuff of late, which I know I've been like prattling on about in recent weeks on my shows. I've been really into their blended bourbons, which are killer, and some of the other stuff they've been putting out. But yeah, in general, I'll hunt out the Elijah Craig barrel proofs. I really, really enjoy those. I'm not, I don't. In general, I don't chase the latest bourbons. It's just not really like the thing that I gravitate towards. But every once in a while, you come across something. Do you? Let me actually just catch up in the chat because we've got some new folks in already. Awesome. Draminator's talking about his Ardbeg 10. Right on, right on. We got Daniel from East Texas in the house. What's up? How are you? He's at Dram Dude. He's got shed envy. Jeez. Oh, shelf envy. I have to admit, you got a really nice setup behind you, brother. That's looking good. Folks saying hi to Daniel. Good stuff. Good stuff. Everybody saying hi. Cool. Well, yeah. Before we get into this, I got to ask you: do you have, in what you said about 5-6 years sipping single malts? Is there any, do you have a style that you kind of gravitate towards? And then I also got to ask, do you have a favorite bottle of all time?
Of course, I should have known these questions were going to be asked.
Yeah, I sent you the document, man. You didn't read
it? Yeah. Style? No, I kind of like everything. I mean, you can see behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an Isla bookcase right here. Yeah. And it kind of extends this way.
Nice.
So peated, unpeated, bourbon cask matured, sherry matured, all that fun stuff. I like it all. My favorite distillery is Bunnahabhain. I'll say that.
Oh, nice.
I have probably over 30 bottles of Bunnahabhain.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, you're putting me to shame. I feel proud. I have 7. And I I do love Bunnahabhain. Recently, and I'm going to be dropping a review relatively soon of the 2020 Fisial Amontillado, the 10-year. I don't know if you've had that one yet. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I got it. Go. He's back there. I loved that pour. That was actually one of the surprising whiskeys for me so far this year. I've also been sipping on that new Manzanilla, that limited. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. What'd you think of that?
It's not open.
Oh, all right. Well, you're in for a treat. That's a surprisingly good. It's only about 10 years, but yeah, it's surprisingly good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Brunas as well. I recently picked up finally that limited release Manzanilla, which I've been quite enjoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought 2 of those. Those were good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And later this year, I'm going to finally crack open one of those red wine Bordeaux limited releases, which I'm really looking forward to.
I got 2 of those.
Yeah. Have you had anything older than I'm assuming you've had the Bruna 25. Have you had anything older than the 25?
So I actually haven't had the Bruna 25.
Oh, okay.
Which is surprising. But I've had older Bunnahabhains. So I have a number of independent bottlings of Buna, and I have quite a few older ones that are that 28 to 30-year-old mark. So
nice.
I've got a couple 30s sitting right there from Old Particular, and then next to it a 28-year-old and a 29-year-old.
Oh, nice.
Another 28-year-old, and then I think another 29-year-old that was distilled my birth year, so that's why I bought that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, Peter White's saying, "Jesus, I had Buddha 12 and 18." The 18 is really good. I have to. Oh no, that's independent bottling casting. You should definitely try the 18 if you ever get a chance, Peter White. I love the Buddha 18. That was in my whiskey of the year list like 2 years ago. I grabbed another one recently just because I found it at a good price. Man, that killer. I do have a 25 that I finally got, and I haven't opened it yet. I got to get to it. Yeah, I've been stockpiling Bunas, and I'm like these old ones. And I'm like, I got to open these eventually, man. Sometimes it's like I don't know. I'm one of these people where I want to open something new all the time, but I'm also like I lose track of where I'm at with the stuff that I've been sipping. I know this sounds like first world problems, but
yeah,
it's not a bad problem to have for sure, especially of late. So yeah, I decided to go with the. I try not to have too much open at once. I went with the Manzanilla, which I'm really enjoying. I just love the like dark depth tones that you get out of Bunnahabhains. Man, it's like they have a signature kind of like dark fruit. Like, I don't want to say funk, but like a damp mustiness to it that I just absolutely love. I mean, they are one of my favorite distilleries. I mean, they're while an Islay whiskey, but not heavily peated. Man, they make really quality stuff. And I also think they fly a little under the radar. I feel like some folk, Buna's not on the top of their list of whiskeys to hunt. And, well, more for us.
Yeah. I mean, general public, no, but among, the serious whiskey drinkers, yeah, people know about it too much now. But
much like everything, right? Jeez. Right. What's going on? Daniel said I was thinking the same thing. He's got 2 Bunas, 18 sell out fast in Canada. Can't remember his first bottle of scotch since my wife would bring 2 or 3 scotches a year from the Heathrow. Oh, first bottle I bought myself was the Glenfiddich IPA. I actually thought that was pretty solid. It was well balanced. I expected it to be like way more gimmicky than it was. I really liked that.
Yeah, no, I actually like that one a lot, as well as the Project 20.
Yeah, the Project 20 was fantastic. There's another Project 20 coming out, which is going to be an Oloroso. Yeah, apparently it exists. I don't know when, but Daniel says no. Yeah, no. Daniel in East Texas has got more good Texas whiskey than he knows what to do with. That's for sure.
Well, you said he lives in Texas?
Yeah, he's in East Texas. Yeah.
I mean, that's like cheating. So.
Mahira, not much happening over here, waiting for lockdown to be over. Yeah, our friends in India, man, sending much love. Everybody stay safe over there. First bottle for Daniel was Balvenie Doublewood. Yeah, that's a very standard one, good one. I mean, yeah, I don't mind that. I'd pour that at all. Peter White says Ontario, not Canada, just a province. Good stuff. Erik, make sure your rig is running great for your journey to Chicago. You don't want to break any of those roads. Yo, man, I got it all planned out. So yeah, I am moving to Chicago. I got all these like Sterilite rubber bins that I like. Basically, I'm wrapping in bubble wrap and then wrapping each bottle in, putting those in. I think it's going to be all right. The real rare stuff is coming in my car. I'm not leaving it to the movers. The White Horse and the stuff that I would cry if it broke. Those are coming with me. All right, man. Shall we jump in? You think it's about time? Yeah, we're about 8:35.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Just to remind folks, so Dram Dude and I did a little international shopping and have both landed a bottle of Deanston. This is a 28-year-old Deanston. It is from 1991. Non-chill filtered natural color. It is 40%, according to the internet. 3 years finished in Muscat wine. Neither of us know a ton about. Oh, I'm sorry. It says here on the back 2 years, not 3 years. My apologies.
Oh.
So I'm assuming this is 16 years in, or well, 6 years in, yeah, and then it's 2 years in Muscat. So here is what the bottle looks like. I'm pretty stoked about trying this. This is for a while, and Deanston Highland Single Malt. And just so folks can see it, and it is a natural color. Deanston is very, very upfront about these things. This is the color we're looking at. There you go. Looks kind of pretty neat. It doesn't look quite like a sherry, but perhaps. Shall we?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, so you're pretty choppy right now. And now you're frozen. Is it just me? Looks like he's fixing it.
I think I'm on the stream. Am I coming through okay?
I heard you for a second, but
Damn.
just gotta wait it out.
How about now? Yeah. How am I doing now? Can you hear me?
It's coming back, but still cutting out.
Okay. What is going on here?
Oh, now it seems better.
Okay. We're good?
Yeah, that's much better.
Sorry about that, y'all. You know, yes, as Peter White noted, my internet is shit. It's going to change when I come to Chicago. I don't know what the problem is here, but it decides to cut out the worst time.
It's your
I don't know if
you got to get out of the closet.
Dude, right? Figuratively and literally. Right? Anyway, so here's the deal. I don't know if anybody heard this, so we're gonna go through it again. We got 13 folks in the house, which is awesome. Deanston, 1991 vintage. It's a 28-year-old. It is 2 years finished in Muscat wine casks, something that Dram Dude and I are not super familiar with. So we're going to learn a little bit about it tonight. This is 45% ABV, non-chill filtered natural color. It is a Highland malt, if you care about such things. US-wise, this is about a $500 bottle, which is insane. Luckily, we were able to find it internationally for less price. And if you didn't see it before, here is the color that we are looking at tonight. That is a natural one. And with that, let's give it a whirl. We can probably just kind of free-form it if you want on the nose here. And I'll tell you right away, I'm noticing like apricot and some kind of like acidic citrus. Kind of prickly.
Yeah, it's very prickly, actually.
Yeah, it's very fresh, which I'm assuming is the Muscat wine. But again, we don't quite know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a white, sweet wine. So,
yeah,
very fruit salady.
Definitely. Yeah, it is a little bit prickly, which is interesting. But behind it, I'm getting a little bit more kind of like rounded. I don't know. I almost want to say melon, but it's like there's just some kind of generic kind of just rounded fruit notes, maybe even a little orange. But there's also like I don't know what that is. There's a little bit of like a musty funk to it, or like a smoked, like a burnt note to it, like a burnt oak or something. I don't know if you're picking the same thing up as I am, but
I can see like more of like a grilled fruit note.
There you go. Yeah, well said. Yeah, a lot of fruit. There's a bit of spice, and there's a little bit of heat on this.
Just sniff harder and work past it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's sometimes it happens too with these older whiskeys where there's just so much going on, it's hard to pinpoint one thing.
Yeah, and I think that's similar. That is definitely what's happening now. It is very fruit forward. and it's like a mix of kind of like, at least for me, it's like the red fruits and the tropical fruits. Like there's like a pineapple. You said grilled because there's a little bit of that char. There's like a little bit of, I don't know. It's not smoke or ash, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Carbony char. Yeah.
Yeah. All in all, pleasant nose, but not necessarily like remarkable in any specific way.
Yeah, I mean it's strong though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you don't need to put your nose deep in there at all. Like
Donner Passes in the house. What's up? How's it going, Donner? California. Yeah, there's something. It's like cinnamon, but it's, I don't know. I mean, you were kind of like, you said grilled fruit earlier. I mean, there's almost like a kind of a meaty note to it, very subtly, but like, you know, like you were barbecuing a, I don't know, fucking steak or a ham, like a little bit of that smell.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's mostly fresh fruits, but
yeah,
there's something darker that's giving it a little more depth. It's not just super shiny, you know, fresh fruit. There's kind of like a cocoa powder.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, there is a depth.
Kind of a chocolatey thing. It's giving it a little extra flavor and richness.
Yeah, it's a little bit of enigma, man. Like there's something. Yeah, I think you're right on the cocoa powder. The more you say that, I'm picking up a bit more. I mean, there might also be like a very fruit-forward acidic coffee note. Not like a deep, like dark French roast Colombian coffee, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those, something from like Guatemala or something, you know, like where you get a little bit more of that fruit acidity. Mm-hmm. There's really that happening in this. But shall we give it a taste?
Let's do it.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow. Whoa. Sweet. That is incredibly sweet.
Yeah. It's a very sweet white grape just crushed in your mouth.
Yeah, pixie stick, man. But there's a lot of layers in it. This is honestly one of the sweetest whiskeys I've ever had. Like it is sugary sweet to the max, but not in a cloying way. Kind of clean, very sweet. You ever had Smarties candy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A little bit of that going on.
Yeah, I don't know how sugary sweet I think it is. It tastes more like natural fruit sweetness.
Interesting.
But that may be, you know, you said it's not cloying, which it isn't. But it doesn't have that fake sugar.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's like sugar, like if you've ever had a Martinique rum, which is just that pressed sugarcane juice, it's like that. It's a very kind of pure, almost like simple syrup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And wow, I gotta go in for another one.
How's this dead air, guys? It's great, right?
It's a science experiment. We're boozy right now, folks. Hang tight.
What happens when you watch a whiskey show?
Boy, I can't quite pick out the fruit notes in this. It's just sweet, sugary, and tropical. And then on the second sip, is when I start getting more of that, a little bit more of that robustness, that body. The spice turns down, and you get a little bit more of the kind of, and it's like hints of dark chocolate, hazelnut, but it's like very subtle. It's I don't want to go as far to say it's overpowered, because it does feel kind of complimentary, but it also is like it's second fiddle at the same time. Like it kind of is just rounding out the sweetness.
Yeah, that second sip definitely got more of the richness and chocolate. I noticed that as well. I mean, the fruits, it's those, white, fresh fruits. It's, white grapes, raisins, and pears. Definitely a ton of pear. I think this is the most pear-forward whiskey I've tried.
Yeah, it harkens back. It made me think of the barrel Armida, which has got I think it's a pear brandy finish. Like this is like the most clean, pure pear flavor that I think I've ever picked up on a whiskey. And this has to be coming from that muscat. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Medium long finish. It sticks around quite a bit. It's rather pleasant. I mean, there's like a little bubble gum, a little bit of like juicy fruit gum. Huh. I'm going to be really interested to see what water does with this.
So right away when it hits the palate, it's very effervescent.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like you're drinking like a sparkling wine almost.
Definitely.
And it kind of has that flavor because it's so, light and white wine-ish, that it kind of almost is like that. Not in a bad way. I don't want to say you're drinking white wine if you're drinking this whiskey, but
exactly.
There's a certain feeling on the mouth, and I'm kind of getting that.
I don't know if this is going to make sense. Like grape soda, like the kind of carbonated, not in the artificial cloying way, but you can tell the difference between, you sip grape soda and then after a while it starts getting overly sticky in your mouth. Like the thing about this is like it has some of that element, but it's cleaner. It's not sticking around. It's not giving you that like aspartame taste.
Yeah.
Huh.
Super clean. Super clean.
Yeah.
Very pure tasting. I don't know if you've had like a Altmore 18. That's to me very clean tasting. Like it's really good, but it's so pure and clean.
Yeah.
It drinks easy. I mean, you can hardly tell there's alcohol in it.
Really? You would not.
I mean, that's kind of what happens with these older whiskeys, right? They kind of just taste like juice almost. Really good juice. $300 juice.
Yeah, or 500 for some folks.
Right.
I'm gonna do a couple drops on this just to see. What I'm looking for here, and I'll admit I enjoy it. It's not a wow for me yet, but I'm really hoping that these couple drops of water here is going to bring out a bit more of the backbone of this whiskey, which you were hinting at picking up with the cocoa notes on the nose, and I'm really hoping that it's going to have a little bit more of that kind of working here. I just need a little more oak, you know what I mean? I need a little more oak or a little bit more just like darker notes to kind of balance this a little bit.
Yeah, the more I'm nosing it, the more those rich notes come out.
Yep.
Because I'm just acclimating to the sweet, fruity notes. But
yeah, I'm getting the same thing. I'm getting a lot more now of like, I mean, this is 2 drops of water. I'm getting a lot more charred oak. There's almond. There's like kind of a nice rounded roasted almond note. There's a bit more of the milk chocolate. It's not dark chocolate, which is maybe a little disappointing, but I'd like it to be a little darker just because I know what I'm about to get into. But
yeah, no, I think it's too sweet to be dark chocolate.
Yeah. Daniel said Altmore 18 is one of his favorite bottles. Righteous, man. And more love for your to be expected with a 20-year-old dram. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
What's up to Donner Pass? I saw you're in the house. Dram Dude. I can see your background's looking great. Yeah, that's the truth, man. I'll put an exclamation point on that as well. Dana says at Malt Muser, last night Dram Dude jokingly said he was going to make a fool of himself, but I haven't heard a word he said because I'm still admiring the whiskey shed. There you go.
That's my trick.
Yeah, man.
I say nothing of importance. I'm here to show off.
This might show my age a little bit. You ever had a Charleston Chew before?
Yes.
Candy? Like the vanilla one with the chocolate, like that slight, like the very light chocolate, whatever you call it, topping.
Yeah, I definitely have. I mean, I have parents.
Well, I mean, man, you're 31, bro. I mean, what have we been in 1990? Jesus. All I'm telling you is like I'm picking up like I just cracked open a Charleston Chew with this. Or maybe the strawberry Charleston Chew for that matter. All right, I'm going in for a taste here with water. This is gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna grab a little water too, real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yes to water. Oh man.
I think someone just said my green screen effects are impressive.
He's actually in Mom's basement right now, you guys.
Yeah.
BMO's in the house. What's up? Good to see you, buddy. You can still buy Charleston cheese, yeah. Got to keep my eyes out for one. Although, not my favorite.
What'd that water do to the palate?
I'll tell you this: it dried it out a bit. It brought it a little bit on the darker notes. There's a bit more. There's a hint of coffee now. Not as much as I would want, but I will tell you, in my opinion, it takes it up a notch with the water. So I'll be curious to hear what you think. It really, for me, it really kind of opened this whiskey up. And keep in mind, folks, we are drinking neck pours.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I just added a few drops. Right away off the nose, that sweetness died down a little bit. And I feel like the alcohol kind of came out a bit. Like I feel like I can smell the alcohol now. In a good way, because it was like not there before.
I didn't quite pick that up. I kind of see what you're saying, actually. I'm getting actually a little bit more of like a peppermint thing, but there's a fine line between the ethanol and mint notes. Some of these.
Right. Yeah, no, I can see mint for sure. Yeah.
Man, this is throwing me for a little bit of a loop, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This whiskey is a little different.
Yeah.
I don't want to say in a bad way. I'm a little bit. It's like I just ate a handful of Skittles. It's just sweet. This is fucking sweet, man.
Very. That water.
It helped. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to decide if, because all those fruit notes were so dominant, and now they're not as much, and so I'm getting more oaky chocolate spice. But now I'm wondering, is this less unique because of it? And do I prefer the sweet fruitiness?
That's a great. I think you're right that it's less unique, but I'm also liking it more. Which I'm going to be real curious what happens to this bottle after about a quarter of the way down. But
Yeah,
I'll say, man, like this is in the best way to say it, in the best like craft presentation way to say it. This is one of the sweetest whiskeys I've ever had. And I can't even think off the top of my head what rivals this in terms of just absolute crystal diamond sweetness. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I've had a few just as sweet or sweeter. So there's some Sauternes cask stuff that can get pretty sweet. I have a Ben Romick. It's like a 8 or 9 year old Ben Romick. It's one of from their wood finish series.
Oh yeah,
it's like a Chateau Sazac.
Yeah, I know exactly which one.
That one is extremely sweet, sweeter than this, I would say. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I might. I mean, I only had a sip, but I might prefer without the water. I think because how light and fruity it is. I mean, time in the bottle, I think it's going to have a huge impact on this.
Yeah.
I think it'll change a lot. But again, like you said, neck pour, right? So
right. This has thrown me for a loop, man. I can't think of a whiskey of this age that I've quite had this experience with before. What?
But how many whiskeys of that age have you had?
I mean, a handful, right? I mean, I'm thinking about like, boy, I'll tell you, it gets better and better, though. It really does. Just with those drops of water. That was my third sip with water, and it balances it more. I agree with you. It's less unique, but I don't know. That balance seems worth it. There's like a maple syrup thing happening now. I think I can count on two hands how many whiskeys I've had that are over, or at 25 years or over. And subtlety and tropical fruit is usually something that I pick up quite prominently. I'm thinking specifically even of like the Lefroy 25. That's in here, but this is a sweetness on a different level for me. I'm
95% sure that's the Muscat.
It has to be, yeah. I mean, it doesn't taste like their distillate.
Yeah, it's some next level stuff. So.
Well, I'm gonna do just one more little pour here. We're almost at the top of the hour, so good to see. We got
just looking at the notes they give on the tin. They say the nose, a sweet perfume to begin, a fruit crumble of peach and cereal to follow.
Peach, definitely, yeah.
Palate, full-bodied and mouth coating with oily citrus notes. It's a pretty lame description, but
we did pick up the citrus. I'm not so sure about it.
I don't think I'd say it's oily. Finish, and this is odd. You almost never see this. They actually say a short finish. They call it short. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. You usually see,
No, I've never seen that, and I also not sure I agree with them. I wouldn't say this is short. It's medium, probably, maybe like stretching medium long, but it is very sugary. I mean, it's.
But they also say with a hint of cocoa, so that's.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you picked that up.
Yeah, not necessarily finished.
Yeah, I'm doing one more. I'm going to do another sip of this neat, and then I'm going to try water one more time just to. Man, I'm getting a really nice red berry. I have to say, this is like the first sips were a little bit shocking, but this is starting to come into its own a little bit, and I'm adjusting to it a little bit more. That said, like I'm getting more like red berries, and not like raspberry. This is like strawberry, the sweeter side.
I can see that.
Water here.
Letting the water settle a bit. That initial sweetness has come back.
Yep.
Not at the level as it was without the water, but it's come back a little bit. So I think that uniqueness is there again.
Yeah.
It's not overly sweet.
Agreed.
But I'm still getting those nice, darker, chocolatey, almondy, hazelnut.
Yeah,
notes.
that almond thing for sure, man. That is. It's like if you've ever been to a street vendor that gives you the like hot roasted almonds, you got some of that going on here. I'm not sure what to say. I'm really just kind of surprised more than anything at how sweet this is. I feel like there's some good stuff going on here. I do wonder, and Cody, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like, do you think maybe reducing that muscat finish by 6 months or a year might have balanced this a little more? I do find this to be a unbalanced whiskey. I feel like the sugar sweetness is very dominant, and I guess at 28 years old and at USD price of $500, my instinct says to me like I would have liked something a little more. Again, this is neck pour, but a little more balanced. I don't know. I'd be curious what you're kind of thinking right now.
Yeah, I'll say a couple things. Maybe a shorter finish would have helped it. I agree, it is pretty sweet, but again, we didn't really know what muscat was.
We're the kind of maybe $300 on a bottle of whiskey and not know what muscat
maybe
is.
if you had more knowledge around that, you'd have a better idea of what you're in for. So there's that. Also, this is first taste and all of that. I wouldn't judge it completely just based off this one pour.
Yeah, agreed.
Deanston is a distillery I definitely respect and enjoy almost 100% of the time. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and assume this will probably change quite a bit in the bottle.
Yeah. I
do like it though. You said unbalanced. To me, that doesn't bother me. I think I've talked about this before on my Instagram and stuff. I think balanced whiskey, it might just be the way people use the term balanced. But if something's balanced, it could mean it's just boring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, balance is,
yeah.
What's balance? It's, equality, right? Things are equal. So if all the flavors of something are equal and nothing stands out, well, then that's boring. You want something, you don't, unbalanced could be good. You have a dominant flavor, a secondary flavor, tertiary flavor. You have something playing center stage with, backups, supporting actors and things like that. I don't want a balanced whiskey. I want those different flavors that play well together and that you can pick out. But I think something needs to stand out.
Yeah, I generally agree with you on that. And a case in point example is, let's be real, like any of the heavily peated Islas. Like one of the reasons I don't love the Laphroaig 25 as much as the 18, or why I don't love the 15 as much as the 10 cast strength, is precisely for what you're mentioning. It's like the balance works to its detriment. It's like they're trying too hard to like reduce the peat and bring out the other flavors, which is all well and good. But expectations play a part of that, I think. And so I generally agree with you. However, with this one, like I think what I'm missing here is when I read the description, it's a 28-year-old whiskey. It is 2 years in Muscat, like 2 years compared to 26. Okay. I'm like surprised, I think more than anything, at how dominant what I guess we're perceiving to be this Muscat finish is. Like it is I don't want to go as far as to say it's like an overcoat, because I don't think this is like a cheap, cheaply made whiskey in any stretch. I do, however, feel like there are some subtleties and complexities that I would expect out of a 28-year-old whiskey that are being a little bit muted by the fact that even after 4 sips, this is my second dram, is just so dominated with like Fruit Loops and heavily sugar sweetness. It doesn't make it a bad whiskey in its own right. However, for a 28-year-old and the price it's at, it's like I do wish I would be getting more, and I think a little bit more just like nuance, I guess. And to that end, I think we're trying a neck pour, et cetera, et cetera. This is going to be really interesting. Maybe we'll do a live stream in 3 months if we haven't killed these bottles yet and revisit. But I do think when I'm saying unbalanced, I think, or when I'm saying balance for that matter, I'm saying like for what I expect out of something as old as this and at this price range, I do feel like a little bit of complexity. Anything small thing. I'm comparing it to some of my like favorite whiskeys of all time. I'm thinking about Bruichladdich Black Art 4.1, for example. Like that is that is literally like a hodgepodge of just like roller coaster experience of flavor. Yeah. This to me is like, a couple notes. They're good. I appreciate what it is, but it is. Basically what I'm saying is I'll be interested to see if this overcoat or this overly the sugarness of it will balance a little bit out. And so I think that, I generally agree with you about like the concept of quote unquote balance. I mean, some of the most balanced whiskeys in my life that I've had, I'm thinking about the Glengoyne 18, which is a classic example of like a boring whiskey that is just never delivers, in my opinion. However, like this, okay, it is very, very sweet. So, I think there's a lot to.
You're being choppy again. I can't hear you right now. Oh, you disappeared. Looks like I'm taking over the show because Erik doesn't want to. He didn't like it so much. He hated it so much. He just left. Can you guys believe that?
Sorry about that.
Oh, there.
I don't know where it broke out. I do apologize. What the hell's going on? All I was saying was basically like, this is going to be a wait and see. For me, like, I usually don't score whiskeys on uncorkings. I give them kind of a prelim score. For me, this is like that 3.75 range. It's like I think there's opportunity here. There's a lot of interesting things that I think are there, and it's going to be fun to see what happens with this. But by no means I would not say like this is the whiskey of your life. You should go out and buy it immediately.
Yeah,
so that's about where I'm falling on it. But it's been fun.
3.75 out of 5, right?
Yeah. That's about where I'm at. But that's preliminary. This 2 months from now, I feel like there's enough going on in here. There's enough potential in here. There's enough things that are kind of showing themselves that this could very easily accelerate, a 4 range. But right now, yeah, it is just a little bit. Again, I appreciate the uniqueness, but that sweetness is just, I feel like, might be masking some things that I would be otherwise really enjoying. But we'll see. I know you probably don't do the score system, but it's an interesting kind of. This has been an interesting whiskey. I don't know. Would you pay $500 for this whiskey?
Well, I didn't, so that's good.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But I think. I mean, these old complex whiskeys, they deserve and require a lot of attention and time. And that's, I mean, you're not a regular guy just going out buying a $500 bottle of whiskey.
Right.
Out of nowhere, right? You're someone more like us who, we do these things sometimes. So
we do.
And luckily you don't pay $500 just for one glass. You get a bottle. So, yeah, we'll see how it changes. I don't score. So I don't publicly score things usually on Instagram. I'm a little lazy when it comes to it, but I'll do reviews every once in a while and stuff. I don't usually share a score, but I do score things personally. I usually do it out of 10. So I'll say right now I'd probably give this a 6 or a 7.
Yeah. That makes total sense. And thanks for revealing your internal scoring system, man. I hope everybody heard that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I think you're right. I 6 out of 6, 7, like with upside, right? It's like a 6 with upside, 7 with a little bit of upside. Yeah, and maybe what we'll do, maybe we'll get the opportunity. We'll check this out in a few months. I don't imagine this is something I'm going to suck down like water. So, no.
It's
an interesting pour for sure. All right, man. This has been a lot of fun, dude, and I appreciate you coming on to taste this whiskey. And it's great. We should do this again sometime. Before folks head off, if you're on Instagram, take a second, head on over there, subscribe to Dram Dude. He's one of the best whiskey photographers you're going to see, and plus has a collection to bring all of your envy to the forefront. Hit that thumbs up before you leave, and if you haven't subscribed to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews, we'd love to have you on. I got a whiskey reviews drop every Friday, and I do a live stream every Tuesday. So with that, Cody, man, until next time, buddy, thanks for coming on. This has been a lot of fun. Yeah. We'll see what happens with this. We'll let's keep in touch on it. We'll share notes, and maybe we'll do a little 2-month checkup or something like that.
Sounds good. I'm down. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. Stay safe, be well.
Cheers.
Peace.